Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a really important and, let's be honest, often confusing topic: the link between stress and fertility. Is it real? Let's get right into it. So, you've probably heard it a million times from well-meaning friends or family, right? Just relax and it'll happen. But is there actually any science to back that up? Can stress, a feeling in your head, really truly biologically affect your chances of getting pregnant? That's the big question we're digging into today. To get an answer, we're going to skip all the old wives' tales and go straight to the science. And what the research shows is a surprisingly clear connection. It really starts with one key number: 29%. Now, a big study on stress and fertility really zeroed in on this number. And it's not just some random statistic. Nope. It points to a very real, measurable effect that stress has on the body. So what on earth does it mean? Okay, so here's the deal. Researchers measured something called alpha-amylase, which is basically just a fancy name for a key stress marker they can find right in your saliva. And what they found was wild. The women who had the highest levels of this stress marker took, on average, 29% longer to get pregnant compared to the women with the lowest levels. So we're not talking about just feeling stressed. This is a physical measurement with a very clear outcome. And this wasn't just a one-off finding, not at all. Other studies have found that stress hormones can literally get in the way of ovulation. And you can see this play out in the real world too. For women going through IVF, those who reported higher stress levels also had lower pregnancy rates. See? The evidence all starts to point in the exact same direction. Okay, so we've seen that there's a link. But how? How does a feeling and emotion physically mess with your body's systems? Well, it all comes down to a kind of biological chain reaction, and it's led by one very important chemical player. And that player is cortisol. You've probably heard of it, right? Think of cortisol as your body's own internal alarm system. When your brain senses a threat, it doesn't matter if it's a tight deadline at work or an actual lion. It pumps out cortisol to get you ready for fight or flight. It's an amazing survival tool, but it can have some serious side effects when it's always on. So here's exactly how that alarm system can interfere with fertility. It's a clear domino effect. First, your brain senses stress. Then, your body releases that alarm hormone, cortisol. And here is the absolute key. That rush of cortisol can scramble the communication signals, the hormonal messages that travel between your brain and your ovaries. And when those signals get garbled, well, the final step, ovulation, can be delayed, or it might not even happen at all. It's a clear, step-by-step biological process. So when you put it all together, the data from large groups of people and the biological mechanics of how it works, the takeaway becomes incredibly clear. Let's just say it as plainly as possible. This isn't just a guess or a theory. The science shows a direct, measurable, biological pathway that connects high levels of stress to reduced fertility. From the markers in our saliva to the hormones running through our bodies, the science is really solid on this. And that leaves us with a really important final question to think about. If we know the science is this strong, what does that mean for how we approach health and wellness in our modern, super high-stress world? Something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.